I guess fill me in on your background and what led you to today regarding all the stuff I guess how much are you writing about comics and how much do more than just write about in the commentary space? Do you actually create yourself or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm creating this series of books, Spirit Girl. This is three,
Nice.
available on my website. I can show you inside because covers one thing, but you want to see the actual sequence a lot. It's got a crossword in the back. That's
Oh,
uh,
cool.
yeah, it's been requested by. This is what it looks like. Interiors.
Okay.
Um, Show you a bit more, I guess. Um, Show you some pages that people seem to like.
Yeah, those are cool.
Thanks.
Who's the artist on it? Or are you the
Uh,
artist?
it's, yeah, I write, I draw, I do the whole thing. I print it at home. I trim the pages. I staple. Everything's like super DIY all the
Wow,
way.
okay.
It's like very in the DIY ethos, 100% the whole way.
So what kind of paper is it? Like what is it? Is it any different than other than the sizing? Like is the material different than what anybody would get at the store?
Well, I chose a little bit heavier than like standard stock, like office like printer paper, just so that it would feel nice in your hand, and just so that it would be a bit tougher too. And I'm printing double-sided, and it's like heavy on the blacks a lot, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of my style. So I want like so that the paper gets like super saturated with like liquid ink.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I wanted like a heavier paper than you would. I can't forget.
So it
I
soaks
sorry.
up that black.
Yeah, I can't remember. And what would happen is you'd get a lot of curling like this, and it wouldn't go back even inside a like a bag and a board or something. So I can't remember the weight or whatever. I just have a big bundle of it here, and I print on that.
That's wild. I looked into that briefly because a few like a year ago I was considering basically starting like a full-blown indie comic publisher of publishing other people's books myself in my basement, like getting a printer and going all about it. But it seemed to be like it was not cost effective at all to do that.
Yeah.
Um, uh, but I liked the idea, so that's wild that you do it all on your own, including the printing and then cutting. And how long did it
Yeah.
take to set that up, and what kind of printer did you end up getting?
So w- the whole thing that got into printing, I was gonna go the whole route that what that you think you're supposed to, Kickstarter and a print run and all this business.
Yeah,
And um I was like, I know that the game is to build an audience and then get that audience to crowdfund the print run. But I'm a writer and an artist. I'm not a audience builder.
yeah, yeah.
So I wanted to be make the main thing, and be mainly focused on just writing and drawing and all that stuff. So I was like, what's the that's gonna mean that my audience building is gonna be slower, and that's what's gonna hurt. So I was like, I'm okay with that because the reason I'm into this is I want to make comics. I'm not into this to making content. So
Yeah.
I was okay with a longer kind of audience building timeline. So I was like, well, I'd still want to put my books out. Uh, and then if I do a Kickstarter and it fails, then like that's a reputation blow. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, I need to be able to make just 20 comics, right? Or
Yeah, yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
50 or 10 or whatever it is that I sell on my website. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to Kinko's and print them out. And it ended up being like it was costing like $12 a book, and that's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
stupid. So, and my wife just she's a fine artist, and she used to do prints of her works. She's like, I got a printer in storage that I haven't used. Why don't we try that? And I'm like, there you go. And it
Oh,
just so happens that it's kind of a high-end printer, so it does come out really good, right?
yeah, that
But
looks really good.
yeah, it looks pro. But like you could do that just with an office printer, like do kind of like a punk black and white photocopy vibe, like 1990s zine style, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I got lucky in that so I just had to fill it up with ink, and so it's still not like cost effective. I'm not really turning a profit, but that's fine for me because at this point I'm just trying to get my books out and get a reputation going as a reliable creator of comics, and just gradually build an audience of meaningful, people that are meaningfully interested in what I am, not just because I have opinions like theirs. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
No, yeah,
So
trying to
that's
get
how it
someone
all.
the whole idea of yeah, we are not content creators at heart. It's like some of us like me sort of became that or partially, but it's like I really pushed it off forever to not but because like you said, how do you build an audience just strictly with your book is like even though you might have a great story, somebody has to get it out there or what like and it's just like okay, if Kickstarter is going to be my avenue to like maybe have people buy it, it's like I still have to convince people that it's a good thing and it's like that only works after the first one's out. It's like then the word of mouth happens after you get the initial one, but still it's like how do I at least get a decent amount to see the first one? And that's where I was like, I can start basically. Well, obviously, the first method I did was I just like put it on Webtoon. It's like that at least is like there's an audience there, and there's actually a big audience there that is interested in kind of new things that came out. My story just wasn't the best fit for kind of that overall audience, but that was the first thing. And then the second one, whenever I was like, was basically just seeking out other publishers um, but I didn't expect to get any publication for my first book, at least not like traditionally published. So I went through. Um, did you ever look up like comics launch or anybody that like kind of does training courses on like do self-publishing and crowdfunding comics at all?
No, I did do like a whole while when I first started this thing, I did do a whole lot of uh let's just listening to podcasts. I remember I would go for walks, and if I didn't have any ideas for stories, I'd just be listening to podcasts about there's a podcast called Comic Lab.
I'm gonna look
Um
that one up.
yeah, it's all about self-publishing and making your comics and stuff. I hit on That's why I reached out to you, because I liked your YouTube. It has kind of a tools for comics makers theme, and I didn't see anything on there on what I found worked really well for me. So I wanted to maybe help out on that front. But the way it all started is that I found Brian Polito's a story. So he's the
Oh, okay, yeah,
Lady Death guy.
yeah, yep. I know Brian Polito. He did
Yeah.
a panel at a like whenever the pandemic was happening and all the panels went online at like either San Diego or whatever and Brian Polito had one on like starting a comics publisher or company or something and I remember I got real intrigued after seeing his panel on that. But yeah, what are the things you can fill me and us in on?
Well, the thing that clicked with me for Brian Polito was basically, if you don't have their email, you're not connected with them. So, and I was like, that's so good, because follower on Twitter. It
Yeah,
comes and goes. All this. I just never resonated. It just didn't seem real to me, like this real connection. But if you have their email, so they might not like be clicking like right away or whatever, but it's gonna sit there. You know what I mean? And
yeah, yeah.
it's not dependent on the platform's code for what they show people. It actually is going to the inbox,
Yeah, exactly. There's no algorithm
right?
that's gonna make it rise to the top. It goes to everyone you send it.
Yeah. So whether they look at it or not, I mean, it's out of your control, but
Yeah,
you
true.
know that it's going to them. So I was like, that makes more sense. I would rather have 200 people's email than 2,000 followers,
True.
right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, the guy is Brian Polito. He built a business. He knows what he's talking about, and I was like, that makes sense. So I started looking into what are the email newsletter things that are the best, and I found Substack, which I noticed you don't have any Substack videos. So I figured I'd
Yeah, I
maybe,
don't.
yeah. So, and it's an odd one because in the comics sphere, it's not really got a good reputation because they Substack had this whole comics initiative where they got Scott Snyder and
I remember
fantasy.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I don't
and
remember what happened with that. Because,
well,
yeah, I
it
was
kind
a
of flopped.
subscriber to. Okay. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I
it
remember
kind
people were
of
talking about like it was going to be a big deal. It was like people were afraid that Substack was going to steal the best creators and like that. And I remember thinking like, really? Like
right,
people they really expect us all to go to Substack and read comics online down? Like I just didn't
right.
understand it. And obviously no one else did either because it didn't catch
Yeah,
on. But
it
for your
didn't catch on.
content, it's a totally different thing. That's not the same thing as reading comics.
No. So what happened is that it did bring some people interested in comics on Substack. And the whole Substack thing is like articles. That's their big thing. But it's
Yeah.
not just that. They have videos. You can do videos, you can do short form. It's an incredible tool. Like that's what I found that I'm not really about creating content, but they have so many tools that make creating content easier and quicker that I've been able to be a content creator. Like despite the heavy, like I work full time and I make comics full time and I go to the gym and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So what so I think that there's a place there to find people who are interested in comics that are outside the um like bipolar kind of comics uh community on YouTube and Twitter, right? Because we have to be anti this and pro this, and all this stuff where I think there's people on Substack that are just interested in things and reading things that
Uh-huh.
are kind of like it's not everybody, but there's more of a like just let's just who cares about all that, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
so I've been writing articles and I started uploading videos. I would make like a comics podcast. I uploaded on there, and when you upload it, it has built-in tools for creating clips that you can download. So
Huh.
what you can do is it creates a transcript of the video that you upload,
Okay.
and then you can select text and create it to tell the software to create a clip out of that piece of text from the transcript. So like from minute 5:32 to minute 7:24.
Gotcha.
And you can
Okay.
share it directly to the Substack notes feed, which is like the Facebook wall, or the Twitter feed, or whatever. Right?
Okay.
So it's
Yeah,
your,
yeah.
and then when you share it there, people can click through to the full video straight to your Substack. And Substack is all email oriented. So you can
Yeah, so
follow,
they're real followers.
yeah. So, well, there's two things. You can get like the fake followers, which is the feed, and so nothing's going through their email. But when they kind of get to know you and they like your stuff and they really want to support you, they're really interested, they can subscribe. But not only
Okay.
that, you can they can subscribe according to tiers. So if you want to charge for your newsletter for extra content, you can get paid subscribers like on Patreon. So it's all of the things in one place. Plus those all of that those subscribers that you can download them to it like an Excel file. And if Substack craps out someday, you still have all your emails. You have still all connected to your
So
subscribers.
how I guess I don't know the proper terminology, but for example, with YouTube, I can be absolutely nobody and I can just create a video and there's a good chance that at least 50 people will see it just because they kind of pump it out to the everyone. Does Substack have a similar to where it's like you can just sort of organically grow pretty well in this subculture of comics?
Yeah, 100%. That's what the notes feed is for. So you can do is to interact with people on notes like you would on Facebook, Twitter, all that business. And from the notes, they click on whatever you put on there, your face, your name, a link, a video or whatever that goes straight to your main Substack page where they can check more of your long form content, which is like the full on videos, the full on articles and so forth,
Okay.
and then subscribe by email. So I have like four times the amount of followers than I do email subscribers. But the that's how I funnel them to email subscription is by putting like short samples of my full videos and articles on the notes feed, right? But
Yeah.
the I was talking about the clips. It's not just that. The clips you can download to you and use those clips for YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels or whatever, right? So
Yeah,
you
yeah,
don't
yeah.
have to make the short clips. It's you make a full podcast,
And
which
then
for
it'll
me is a lot
basically
easier.
chop it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you can download a clip and put that on
And
your
then put
YouTube
that
Shorts,
out.
right?
And then you can have your YouTube link to your Substack.
Yeah, yeah, and
Full
back and
circle.
forth, right? Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah, my
I just found it such a good tool for a guy like who's just busy and you're as long as you're not like trying to be like a YouTube star or whatever.
yeah,
This is
yeah.
and you're a comic maker and you want to connect with people who are interested in comics. Like if it's a real thing, you're not tr chasing some sort of internet fame. I think
Yeah.
it's a really good tool.
No, I've definitely been like wanting to sort of dive into it. The my co-creator, co-founder of the new project I've been working on, the Internet Comic Database, Enrico, he was like trying to sell me on Substack because he created a Substack for a like kind of himself and then also like this ICDB that we've been creating, which did just go live. We're doing like our first like real update, but and I was like, okay, well let's like play around with it. And he was kind of saying this the things that you were saying, but I was like, okay, I just at this point it's like same with like YouTube was whenever I first started it, in order to really like gain any kind of real momentum and traction, I had to create content like all the time, like at least once a week. And at this point, I'm like, man, I can't, I don't have time to do like really anything, and I don't know how to use AI to save my time. Like I don't like, and so it's just like I'm just gonna focus on this, and then if you like me talking to him, like if you want to try to figure out like what's the best route to take, and he actually mentioned you specifically. I don't know if he followed you, and then I mentioned you or something like that. But he was like, "Yeah, this guy has a solid Substack." And then I saw whenever I followed you, uh, you either recommended or something like six other channels
Yes.
that is genius because I did subscribe to all of them, and then actually read and enjoyed the content. And I'm like,
Yeah.
dang, if I can get, I have a solid, like whenever I talk about promoting comics, I always talk about like your squad, your team of like 10 people that use is just like your street team of hustling out. It's like if I can get them to basically add me to their Substacks or whatever, or like recommend me, then we would all just be recommending each other and we could grand our expand our overall reach a lot faster and better, and to more dedicated people just for comics. Because the problem with YouTube is you're getting such a broad audience of people, and I feel like even like the people that's the downside of YouTube is let's say someone is looking for something very specific that I created, like specific indie comic publishers of 2025. Someone is searching that, finds me, subscribes to me, but then if they're not searching, my next video might be how to get your movie on Netflix. They don't care about that, so they don't watch that video, and then they basically lose interest because uh, not every one of my videos is exactly what they're looking for, and then it just never shows up on your feed anymore. So even though they're a subscriber, just like you're saying, because it doesn't always go to them, it's not like every video like email. You need the email to where like at least it goes to everybody. Because that's the thing is like 3 videos from now they might want to watch it, but because I didn't watch the second and third, YouTube just thinks they're not interested in me at all, even though they probably would be interested in the fourth video,
Yeah.
but they're never going to see it because of that algorithm. And it's like, yeah, if I can just, and that's the thing is, I don't need 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. I need 200 on Substack that basically care about what I'm doing because it's such a sub niche of art and entertainment, or even sub within comics.
Yeah. Well, it's the whole business model is completely different, at least for now, because YouTube is all an ad-based model, and so is just about every other social media platform. A Substack needs to send people to you so that you get more chances of getting a paid subscriber because they scoop some off the top, right?
Okay,
So
so they take commissions of your paid subscribers.
yeah. So
I
there's
do
two
remember.
ways.
Okay,
Yeah,
keep going.
sorry. So the one way which is positive, which is for us, like little guys like me, is that they do want to send people to you, right? So their whole algorithm, the whole feed, everything, the software design, interface design, everything is designed to send people to you. The other way of doing that, which is maybe we don't know if it's good yet or not, is to go get big names from other media outlets and bring them to Substack,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
But the hopefully the positive is just more people on Substack, and then
Yeah, I
some of those
remember.
people will be comic people.
Yeah, around the same time of like the Scott Snyder and the comic thing, I remember that was also when in the overall world there was the whole I don't remember exactly what the story was that he was uncovering, but they were pulling like Matt Taibbi
Yeah,
and it
exactly.
was and other kind of famous journalists
Yeah,
and I don't it was Elon Musk was involved and like it was a whole thing. They were investigating like it was the Twitter files. That's what it was. Yes, they were
yes,
investigating like the behind the scenes of like the government trying to influence Twitter to do whatever they were doing at the time. And I remember thinking like, oh man, this maybe will take off. And then I remember, yeah, I was like, but now that like comics, like such a weird combination. But now I see that it's like they're really just kind of going after the top names of like every kind of. If you were to think, it's almost like if Substack, they're trying to create the new media. It's like
yes,
ignore CBS, ignore NBC, ignore I guess Marvel and DC even, and be like, just take the hit names, the hit creators, and be like, just publish them online or on Substack or however. That's interesting. I'm at the same time, that was also when everybody was saying get on TikTok, and I was just starting YouTube. So I was like, I just figured out my little thing. Like, let me just figure this out. And but it's as with everything, it's like now that I do have that figured out, it's hard to like let go because it's also the like YouTube's the main thing I'm on in real life. But it is interesting how like culture changes and like the next what the bar that with all the cool kids went to whenever you were 21 is not going to be the same one that your kids go to. And it's like my cool thing was like YouTube like I rose like what do you call that? Come of age. Like I was basically 14. I think I was 16 when YouTube was like went live and was like invented. And so basically 17, 18, 19, 20. I remember whenever I was like 21 and YouTube was still considered a new thing and I was on it all the time and I've just never stopped. So like that's going to be my, vinyl records where it's like it's going to be
Yeah.
hard to pull me off of YouTube is like my main thing. But as far as like business wise, um, I'm definitely now gonna consider Substack possibly being my main thing where I'd like dedicate my time as opposed to, these other things like TikTok and Pinterest because those are just not it's like you might be able to get a lot of followers on those, but it's not the content that like probably you and I are creating where it's like ultimately I'm trying to lead people to my work as a comic creator, but I'm also, trying to get people that are interested in my work as sort of a consultant to other people in this industry.
Mhm.
Um, but who knows? I'll dabble in all of them.
Well, here's what a thing you could experiment with now that you are on Substack, and you can, maybe get more visibility to your ICDB, which I started poking around in there today. Um, so take this video, upload it to Substack. It's not complicated. You just go
Okay.
dashboard, create video or whatever, and you just upload it, and you'll see on the video screen there's a little icon of a scissors. You click the scissors and you'll see already the Substack's AI or software, whatever it is, has already selected two, three, four clips.
To
They're already
okay.
ready. So you can download them and it'll have a download button, which you can use to put on your YouTube or whatever.
Yeah.
Or you can do share to feed right straight from there. So
Yeah.
it's like all you have to do is finish this conversation and upload the video.
Upload it to Substack first. Yeah. Oh, I'm
So,
going to do that whenever I'm done, and basically
yeah.
just start simultaneously. All my uploads that go to YouTube are also going to go to Substack,
Well, it's
and
not just
basically,
that, Max. Hang on.
yeah.
You can, if you dig around in your settings, you can connect your Substack to your YouTube. And then when you go to publish your Substack post, which will have this video, you can have it auto upload to YouTube.
I forgot. Yeah, when Substack is big enough to where they are implemented with things like that. Yeah, I don't need to double my work. They make it
Yeah.
for easy for you. That's the why they're
Yeah.
there.
And
Yeah,
there's
then
a
I'm
running
definitely just
gag
gonna
on
do it that way.
Substack where uh, apparently if you talk about Substack on Substack, Substack's algorithm boosts you. So this whole thing's gonna blow up, Max.
Yeah, because it like the AI is just gonna hear us say that over and over again, but just be like, "I love Substack." It's just like boosted, boosted. Oh yeah, okay, cool.
But I'm actually interested in this ICDB. So ICDB dot app, right?
Yeah, and we're actually this next iteration that should be live either tomorrow or the next day is like it's gonna be free for everybody. So like right now
Okay.
it looks like there's a paywall for like kind of like where you are, but there's like a free trial, but in reality virtually all of it is free forever except for the people that are like what like kind of what I designed it for or um is the like the highest tier that you would. I guess I'll go into my spiel about it all and I'll get your
Yeah.
input because like before all this, before I go into what it is, it's like I'm a comic creator and that's how I got into this space. Was I first was uh, uh, basically writing comics, writing screenplays, and then trying to figure out how to break into both industries. And one of the first things I did, like I was saying before, was create a web comic, and then I created a book called It Eats What Feeds It, and that was 3 issues long. My web comic was the equivalent to like 5 issues long, even though I didn't finish it. I stopped at like 4. Um, and then I started a series called Liquid Kill. That's 15 issues long, except for I've only gotten to issue 10. I started I also wrote a graphic novel that's 4 issues long. So altogether, I have like 5 finished or close to finished titles, dozens of floppy comics. And I have all this data spread out across different computers because it's been in the works for like over 10 years. Different scripts of different editions and different rewrites, and all the solicitation, like as you go through publishing, whether it's self-publishing or publishing through um, uploading it to Amazon, uploading it to a print on demand, going through a traditional publisher, and then like the distributor needs all this information. There's like tons of data from sketches to pages to character designs for a bunch of different titles. It's all over the place. It's not in one cloud. I have some that's like in a shared drive on a Google Drive with one artist. I have another book that's within a different artist that's on a different cloud sharing platform that they started. And I was like, I have all this stuff. And meanwhile, I'm also trying to like produce movies, and I'm also trying to get more work. And whenever you're trying to get more work, people go, send me this. Or they'll be like, I liked that cover to the one thing I saw in the store. Like, and I'll be like, what cover was that? Who did that cover? Which series was it? And like with Liquid Kill, 10 issues had 3 different variant covers for each issue. So that's like 40 different covers with different artists that I did over the course of 3 years. Um, and I was like, I need a place to like upload all my stuff and archive it according to what actually makes sense. So it's like this title, it eats and feeds it. Here's like a file that's just issue one, two, three, all the covers, and then all the marketing images and stuff I did. I need the same thing for all my Liquid Kill. And then I need a new one for like my new book. And I need like to be able to easily just like give someone access to that folder, to like the new one that I'm working on, so that I'm not trying to transfer all the files, or that like trying to set up a new folder on a new like Google Drive and be like, all right, here's this for that, because you're then like you're for me, I have a lot of different projects going on at once, and that's what I was saying. It's spread across the place. But I was like, if I just had one portal that I just go on to, and it's got all my past stuff, all the stuff I'm working on, and all the artists that I've ever worked with, and the ones I'm currently working with now are all on there, then it would be super easy because I can go back to the guy who did a cover artist for Liquid Kill and be like, hey, check this new thing out. You want to do another cover for me now? Or, and that's what we built. And like, is we built like a portal for that purpose, which is like archiving, data storage, organizing all your files, and then making it easily to where you can submit it to either a publisher, because it's like you can take all that data and then like probably kind of like Substack does, it just sort of takes what's in those folders and then puts them into like a pitch sheet. So it's like once everything's done, you have like the log line, synopsis, the cover, the sample pages, and you can just be like, send that to so and so and be like, this is what I'm working on. Do you want to be involved? With all the people I've worked with in the past. And then I was like, if we're going to make this a real thing, it's like we should make it to where it's like you can then send it to other people that are on this big drive. It's not just my personal one. It should be like IMDb, to where it's like every comic creator that exists, I can then just like, not necessarily connect with them, but like get their email and then like, possibly pitch them to work on the project or whatever. And that's when Enrico like came to me with, he had a similar thing, and I was like, let's just combine these things together to where it's like we make the ultimate app. And so that's like what was where it all came from. Was like I built this for me. Like I was like, this is something that I need, and it would be amazing if like it existed, and we finally got like a developer involved who was like actually serious about it. It's the same with comics. Like you can be you can have an idea for a long time and you can get people that say they're interested, but as soon as you start to actually like try to do something, like you reach out to an artist and then you go, it's gonna be 5 issues, it's gonna, and they're like, oh, that's gonna take me, over a year to do. I have this other thing. And then they'll be like, I actually need more money or whatever. Like it's always harder to do when you actually like try to put your feet on the ground. But we finally did it, and like now it's live, and but we made like the free version is like everything there except for actually storing a lot of files. Like there's still all the
Right.
organization. So like if you want to like to create a profile and create like a portfolio and upload pages and stuff for like one project, is one thing, or just kind of like one picture or sample pages for like kind of like what we call the portfolio so you can see credits of what you did in the past, but it doesn't archive everything you've done. It doesn't archive every sketch, every page, every cover, like, and that's only in like the paid version. But there is a free version now, and so like that's what we built is Internet Comic Database ICDB. And so yeah, what are your thoughts on all this? Because we're excited about it, but I'm getting kind of like mixed reactions from people.
Well, I think it's great. I mean, all the best stuff is uh, based on the actual need, right? Like you're saying. And I pay for a cloud service because, well, because I got to store like 5,000,
Yeah,
reference photos, you know what I mean?
exactly.
I guess, I guess, I, as a guy who does the whole thing from start to finish at this point, I would stick to my cloud because I don't need to show people.
Yeah, you're not collaborating like I am. Someone
Yeah.
who does
Except
less.
at some point, I'm going to want something that's easy to show publishers.
And that's what also part, yeah, and that's what's the free versions for is like perfect for you because it's like you can basically show sample pages and have all the credits of like all the comic books you've published, and so it like and then just easily, and that's what we're actually implementing now as well is basically to where like you have your portfolio, and then we have a discovery page to where basically there's three different like things that you can list. So it's basically like
Yeah.
if you have like if your book it goes live on your website, you can post a listing that anybody can see, not just people inside the ICDB app, but also like the public, that they can just see like this is a new thing that went live. If someone has a Kickstarter that goes live, you like post a listing that says like the title and it has like a picture and it's basically like an ad for like this new thing that's live. And that's like one thing. The other thing you can basically post is basically a like a pitch. So if you have a book that you're trying to get publishers on board for, you can basically submit it to people that are just pros inside ICDB. And if you think about it, the first thing I was saying of what people need, like the paid users, which is basically collaborative shared storage, that's editors and publishers. They need to be able to upload all this data, have it easily organized to be able to send to publisher or not publishers, but printers. Printers and distributors, they're the ones that need all that info, that metadata. That's like it
Right.
says exactly the log line for one specific issue. It says all the bio information for every single creator. It says the subgenres of the issues, the rating. Is it for 18 plus? Is it for kids? Is it teen? Like all that kind of stuff that you have to figure out. We make it easy to where it's like that's all there. The people that really need the nitty gritty of that are like professional people that are hiring creators and people that are publishing comics. And so, like the people that are on there, we make it to where you can basically send out a listing to their discovery page that basically says, hey, I have this completed book. It's of this genre. Um, Here's the artist, and here's like a brief bio of what I've done, and then a link to like your profile to where if they want to see what else have you done, or if they want to see sample pages of the listing you posted for. So it's kind of like you're just pitching everybody. And and like in theory, as you get editors and like more professionals on the site, um, they might label themselves as an editor or a publisher, and they will be the people that get to see like those listings that are directed at them. And so it's not just like pitching, I send my pitch to Image Comics and we just hope for the best. This is more like, I could list to everybody and editors of virtually every publisher out there that is looking for new content is going to see it, and especially for people that don't know all the publishers that are out there. Like I spent hours and hours and still do it to this day of just trying to find all the publishers that are out there, not just
Right.
in the United States but worldwide, because they're hard to find if they're not that big. But even if they're not that big, that doesn't mean they're irrelevant. They're actually very relevant to our community. We're all kind of looking for small press and mid-level comic publishers because those might be the ones that are publishing our specific thing. So that's kind of the idea of how it will ultimately sort of benefit everybody. The challenge is just getting people on board to start with. But I'm
Yeah.
hoping that making it free is like should like make that barrier to entry zero. And there's tons of benefits to once you start and create a profile. I think we're gonna make it to where it's like all the YouTube content I made as far as I wrote ebooks and stuff like that. We're gonna make it to where it's like people can get free downloads of that for joining the site and stuff. And I'd be open to partnering with you as far as like you know all the information you release to people. That's another thing. It's like someone for you, not just as a comic creator, but the Substack things that you run and all your collaborators is like you would be able to be like sort of an internal partner or something like that to where like if people are searching for that kind of content it like pops up like to where there's either a link to it or I'm sure that as we spend more time with it I'll figure out a way to like you're saying Substack makes it to where like you post up to Substack and it then can go to YouTube. Like I can make something to where somehow they are linked, to where your fan base follows you on ICDB, and your ICDB fan base will then automatically follow you on Substack. Like that kind of stuff can happen, and that's what we're working on. It's just, I'm new to the whole like website, like I know web design, but real deep like development like this is the first
Yeah.
time I've ever done anything this deep.
Well, it's kind of like starting a business almost.
Yeah, it's definitely like yeah, yeah. And that's
Yeah.
the thing is if I like not to get too much inside baseball or in too deep of all of the weeds of all this, but it's like these things aren't cheap and they take like tons of time. Like if you don't partner with a super smart person that's like at the perfect level of their career that I found, a lot of times, like if I try to just like give this idea and then like send it to, let's say I tried to use Upwork or Fiverr, and I like tell them like this is my idea, here's what I'm trying to build. They would basically say, yeah, I'll build it for $40 to $90 an hour, and it's going to take me 100 hours to build the basic level of the site. And you're like, oh, okay. Like there's it kind of just crushes it, especially when you're like, but I don't really expect to make any money with this. Like
Yeah.
that's the other
What's
downside.
the
It's just
level
like
of
comics.
investment some rando has, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah. One thing I did find, I just started poking around. I've been busy. I did find like so on your profile, I'm looking at it. Um, I like that you can choose several roles, like art, because I was like, oh, there's a drop down menu for what I am, but artist, writer, penciler, inker, letterer. I put all of the things that I do. It
Okay.
says social links. Uh, Oh, I just see it said add another link, so I can't put my Substack on there. Um,
Oh yeah, and we can make that to where Substack's one of the top four, so it's like you don't have to click other. We can just make that one of the
but it's up to
main
you.
ones.
Yeah.
This is the brilliance also of what I love about being in comics is like your and I conversation right now will have a direct effect on this. Like
Yeah.
and that's what's cool about comics is like none of us are that too far away from each other.
Hmm.
someone that's just getting in is really an arm's length away. We may be pretty far from James Tynion or or Scott Snyder, but like the rest of us is like we are actively helping each other out whether we realize it or
Yeah.
not. Like we're all truly a
Yeah.
part of the same community. We share the same audience, and
Yeah.
um, so getting your
And
input
that's
on this
why
is like
you got to
okay,
say nice things on the internet.
yeah. Oh my goodness. And I cannot believe how crazy negative a lot of these people are in the comic space. I mean, I
Yeah.
get more hate just for, saying kind of generic things on YouTube.
Yeah.
Not so much anymore, but for a while whenever I was posting a lot, you just get so many people that like try to bring you down to where you're just like they either think you're a grifter that's just like trying to, everyone in comics is either thinks you're either rich or poor, and they're kind of right. Like you're either making a lot of money or like, have a career or you're basically it's a hobby. There's not much that's in between. But I get so many people that were just like, "Oh, he's just doing all this to sell a course." Like and it was like, "Dude, I'm giving all the information for free on YouTube. Like the reason you
Yeah.
watch this, like it's like just because and I don't even have the course anymore, but it's like every time I did, and at the end of the videos, I would say like, and if you want to learn more, like follow my course. My course was $50, and I would just get people being like, "I'm done. Like this guy's just trying to steal me of my $50." And it's like, dude,
Yeah.
like it's just consolidation of all the YouTube videos. It's like if you just don't want to
Yeah.
go through having it scattered, it's like I have it all organized. And I'm charging the bare minimum. Literally, the company I had it on, Teachable charges you $50 a month to even have the platform. So I had to have somebody buy the course at least once a month to even make anything with it. And I only did that like 2 months out of the year. So it was basically like, so yeah, I just stopped doing it. I was just like, it's not actually worth it. I'm basically getting at most $50 a month, if not nothing, like true zero, just break
Yeah.
even.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, anyway, I could complain about people, but I
But
just
do
think it's
you,
funny that it's like you said, it's like I've tried to be nice to everybody, and then people will just take it and be like, "Yeah, he's a liar."
yeah. Do you think it's going to pass? Or I don't know. Do you think it's a cultural moment, or do you think that's basically we're just going to have to learn to deal with that?
I think I may be just exaggerating, and that it's not really just indie comics; it's just the internet, and like sort of just everybody. But I think in comics, what it is that you see so many true, real sort of like not grifters is the wrong word, but just sort of people that are not actual comics people, or the same with like in indie film, where you just get sort of you see kind of like the joke is anybody that ever worked with anybody famous then just uses like that as their credibility to be like, I did a movie with Denzel Washington. I was the whatever they were, but they'll use that as like, and so I know kind of how Hollywood works. And to their credit, what they're basically saying is like, I've been in the industry for a long time. I know the ins and outs of basically how it all works. I've never figured out how to make it work for myself. Otherwise, I'd be like, really successful to the point that I don't need to be teaching. So it's like kind of the whole idea of like teaching is like if you're not successful enough of your own, because if you were, you'd spend all your time doing what works, which is writing or doing artwork or something like that. You don't have so much time to be teaching people how to do it. But there's
That's right.
certain people like me that do sort of like have a little bit of success and see behind the scenes, and it's such like an eye reveal thing that it's almost like it is beneficial for someone that's brand new to where it's kind of like someone that's basically like they may have been made it to the managerial level and they can tell you like, hey, here's how you can become a manager like me. I don't know how to get to be the CEO. Like that's a total different category, but all people remember is the CEO. But, people at the start is like by the time you've been doing it for years, you're like, I don't even care about being the CEO. I just want to be a manager. Like, just make it to where I'm not grinding every day doing hourly work. Like, I just want to be salaried. And I feel like it's the same in like virtually every industry as you're trying to learn. But in comics, and same with movies, like entertainment in general, it's easier to sort of like call people out as sort of like like, oh, you failed and that's why you're trying to teach me what to do. And so like that, it's just like naturally like that role becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, I feel like, to where it's like, yeah, you're not actually giving the lower levels that much information, or something like that, to where someone that's been in it for a long time or someone that might be like they're just gonna be like, yeah, you're saying everything all of us already know. In fact, I've been doing this longer than you, and that's who comments. And like that's where I feel
Oh,
like it comes from. It's like these are the people that have been doing the same role every year. They've been the same guy that's been working on your car for 30 years or whatever, and then they don't like you coming in with 5 years of experience saying you know how to build a brand new car. Like
right,
they're the ones being like, dude, I've been fixing cars for 30 years. You don't know what you're talking about, kind of thing.
right.
Um, I could vent forever on this kind of stuff.
Well, I'm sorry that that happened to you, but I mean, hopefully those people learn that it's not necessary to be mean in order to communicate their ideas.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is like to their credit, I don't think a lot of times they realize they're being mean. They're just like saying how they feel, and that's what I'm saying. It's just internet culture is it is the town square. Like you're just gonna say how you feel, and they're gonna be like, take it or leave it. Like that's what I think of you. And
Yeah.
like that's just the risk you take of like making YouTube videos. It's just you put
Well,
yourself out there. You're in the town. You're if I'm gonna be the guy that's shouting at town square, saying "Listen to
yeah,
me," I'm gonna have to know that there's gonna be some guy in the crowd that's going, "Why are you guys
right,
all listening to him?" And it's
right.
like that's on me for taking that guy overly serious, like so I talk about it of like being mean, but it's really like it's probably less than 1% that are actually mean. The rest
Yeah.
is just like a lot of people love it and care, and that's the majority, and that's why I keep making videos. But you do get those stragglers that will really try to bring you down.
Mm.
And it is just like, hey man, like why are you trying to what's your beef with me? Like, and then it's just like, oh, I see. Because I'm the one that's shouting from the rooftops, and you're just calling me out for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right. We'll just have to kind of accept, we just kind of have to accept there's going to be like a like a percentage of that kind of thing and you just gotta ignore it, I guess.
It's got to be. Do you do reviews of other people's comics at all?
I don't. So I did a. So that's another thing Substack offers. You can do reader surveys. So I did a survey, and people people want reviews, and I kind of don't get it because I don't find that, you know, like when I go look for a book, I don't look for a review. I look if I'm interested in that book.
Yeah, same here. I don't
So
ever remember reading a review, deliberately reading a review to like get an idea of whether I should read a book or not.
yeah, it's so I will try to experiment with maybe there's a way for me to do reviews that's interesting for me. But what we're doing in the podcast is we just pick a book that we think is interesting and we look at it and we just kind of pour over it in detail, kind of a deep dive type of thing. And a lot of them is the classic books because I want to do that anyway because I want to study all these classic books to learn what was great about them so
Yeah,
that
yeah.
like it goes in my head and then when I make comics, I make better comics. And so we share that process. Plus, it's like hanging out with comics people talking about comics, which is fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's what turns into like those clips. So that's kind of the idea. The reviews, I don't know. I just don't find my plus I don't find my opinion about whether I like the book or not is that interesting because people like different things. I prefer to kind of look in the medium, how it worked and stuff, and not really have an opinion whether I liked it or not. That's my
Yeah, yeah.
preference. So yes, I don't know. That's where I'm at with the reviews. Is
That
what does that incur the ire of people?
I I don't, yeah, that's the thing is like I feel like there's plenty of comic review like content out there where people are doing it. And that's why I brought it up for like two reasons is number one, I feel like the reviewers probably get a lot of hate because and like that's like just putting yourself out there in the worst way to where you're basically judging other people publicly.
Yeah,
But the meanest people I've had for me had nothing to do with my YouTube channel, but it's just like whenever I based upon the books I wrote. Like I had a two reviewers for Liquid Kill that just literally said it looked like crap and was I can't remember their exact wording, but it was like vulgar, like one of the worst things they've ever read. And they're not always like that. They're not like kind of funny about it or saying like kind of everything is bad. It was like this one's all right, this one's all right. This one though, like what were they thinking? Like how did this even get made? And like that, and I was just like, dang, it kind of crushed me at the time. Um, but the launch of Liquid Kill was a rough one. Like people did not take to that one the same way my one of my other books was. So it was like, yeah, you do get just putting yourself out there at all as a writer or an artist. It's like you're just open your. That's why it's yeah, I can talk about this forever. That's why it's so hard to get into this. Is like your feel of fear of failure is real because it's like
yeah.
when you fail, it is public and it is humiliating, and other people will put you down and be like, "You are not worthy to be on the shelves, so just stop." And like, and it's so
So
it's like,
mean.
yeah, it's so mean, but that's what they do, and uh, and so you're just like, oh yeah, like what your fear getting into it is like, well, what if people say I suck? And it's just like yeah, that's gonna happen. You just have to power through it and become better. And like
Yeah.
so it's just like, yeah, it's hard to break through the noise. But that does bring me to one other thing, not to talk forever, but it was like I like your idea of basically just being like, I'm just gonna spotlight or highlight like good or classic books. And I was thinking, and I haven't really seen anyone do this before. Um, and I was gonna do it, but I kind of just like lost time and did my other projects. But I was like, you know, I want to take like a camera above me that's like looking down, and I want to open comics, and I want to, in the same way you see people break down movies and be like, this is what made this scene great, like
Yeah.
showcase like panel by panel, like this is how they made this so good. Like,
Well,
why
that's what
was
we
this
try to
book?
do. We
Yeah,
do
and
try,
and
like we do our best to try to do that.
that's awesome.
Yeah, and if you ever want to be in on one of these, I'd gladly have you on and just kind of do that kind of thing for sure, 100%.
Oh yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, well, whenever you try to set one up, I'll see if I can be there at the same time.
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll send you like kind of an open invite, and you can just tell me your availability. We'll figure it out.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but like the thing with the mean thing, like I put a lot of thought into like my online presence and that sort of thing, and I just ultimately what it came down to is someday I will not be here, and the things I said on the internet will be.
Yeah,
So how do I want people, what do I want to leave behind? Just a trail of being mean to people and having opinions? Like it's
yeah,
just not, just doesn't seem like a good way to like spend your this beautiful gift of life you have. Like it seems to me you would want to put love and good things, out
true.
there, you know?
Yeah,
So I'm
I
trying
never
to,
thought about it like that.
yeah, I'm just trying to make like things that like represent like my love of there's a reason why I make comics like like it's all my time, right?
Yeah.
All my time is spent making comics. There's a reason for that. That's because I love it, and I just want to be able to try to explore that. What is it about this that's worthy of love, you know? I guess that's the way that I see it.
That's the best way to see it. I feel like, yeah, but it's very true. Like, yeah, there's no point in leaving your, like, yeah, if your digital footprint ultimately, especially the future we're going, is probably going to be more powerful than your physical footprint. Maybe not spiritually or something like that, but yeah, it's like what people are going to remember you for is like all out there. Your ghost is online forever. So it's like you
Yeah.
should have a lot more positivity than negativity out there. I remember reading a long time ago. I don't remember what it was called, but it was basically uh, a channeling where someone was like speaking to sort of like an angel or an alien or something. They were like, "What is going to get me the equivalent to like into heaven or like it was like to not reincarnate or like basically the entity was saying everybody reincarnates until sort of like groundhog day, like when you learn your lessons then you move out, but other than that you're kind of repeating your earthly cycle. And they said, well, how do you like get out of it? And they said it's easy, all you have to do is be 51% positive. Like you have to do good 51% of the time. And then like the follow-up question was like, wait a minute. So you're saying that all these people that are repeating over and over again like can't even get over halfway just good more than 50% of the time? They're like, yes, that's the problem. Like is you guys can't even, you are so negative that you can't even get past 50%. I'm just like, dang, that's all it takes. It's like just do good more than you do bad. That's So yeah, on
Well,
the internet, it's like just send more love than hate, and you might be okay.
yeah. Well, I feel tonight we achieved this.
We did, yeah. I feel like we were way more positive than negative. We didn't hate on anybody at all.
No, no, not at all. I don't think so.
What did we want to what else did you want to cover aside, like what other books did you have or anything else that you're promoting? And then yeah, we never even said, of course I'll put it in the description and like on the screen, but like what is the name of your Substack and all that?
Yeah, it's Comics Odyssey. I don't know if you guys can see that.
I just barely, but yes.
Yeah. It's Comics Odyssey because an odyssey is defined as a long and eventful journey. So that's kind of how I see art. I'm ready to make these comics. I'm prepared. Like I got 25 issues planned out, and I've world built, and I'm prepared to make these comics for the rest of my life. So I see it as an odyssey. And we journey through the landscape of comics. So comicsodyssey.substack.com. The website is comicsodyssey.ca. I do have this book available for sale, number 3, which is the origin of Stormhand, the main villain from this arc, this first arc, who's a goat-headed guy. He's got like storm powers. And we go back in the past, like a long, long, long time ago in a land far away. And actually, there's. Did you like maps, fantasy maps?
I love them, yeah.
Yeah, I like maps. I like Lord of the Rings and stuff. So I made a map of like the land that like these guys are
Oh, whoa.
from. Yeah,
Okay.
so they're giants that came down from the mountains, and they allied themselves with a king, but they incurred the ire of this mage who cursed them to live in the mountains. So it's the
All right.
story of how they came. So this is the continent of Estland, but
Okay.
Spirit Girl, she's from Northland. So it's the story of how they came, these guys, these bad guys, came to Northland and why she's got to deal with these guys now.
Are issues 1 and 2 available on your website or anything like that? They're out?
I'm gonna put them up for free soon.
Okay.
I want to try to, incentivize people to buy this one. You can read it on its own. You don't need any story before.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just the story of these guys. It's the best one I've made. So I've made one and two kind of learning stage.
Gotcha.
Obviously always learning, but this one's like solid. When I read this, I thought, wow, this is awesome. This is cool. But one and two will be available for free digitally soon.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Dang, we already did an hour. That seemed to go by pretty quick.
Yeah. That's what
Uh,
happens.
what did I guess I'll just say, yeah, for everybody, I'll put my links, the icdb.app link, and then yeah, I've hovencrow.com. And yeah, I'll send everybody your way the Comics Odyssey, and I'm gonna upload this to Substack and let's start making some clips. I think we got at least three or four out of this.
Yeah, I
Everybody
think
that
so for
why
sure.
are people mean? uh, Comics Odyssey and the brilliance of Substacks. Remember, we love Substack. It keeps hearing it.
It's
Um,
kind of fun when you upload it and you click like the scissors because you're curious what the software chose as the best of what it thinks could be a clip. So it's a little bit like it's got a slot machine kind of feel to it. Like, oh, I
yeah,
wonder what clips it.
yeah, and like even now, it's like I can't even remember what we were talking about, and it might find like the perfect segment that's just like, oh yeah, I didn't even realize that's a perfect thing where we gave away like you gave a lot of great detailed information on like a certain thing. So cool. Well, this is awesome. We'll definitely have to do one again, and definitely yeah, send me these open invites to be a part of these sort of uh, fun as we view what makes good comics so good.
Yeah. It was nice meeting you, and I'm gonna keep poking around in ICDB and just learning. And as you grow, kind of keeping an eye on the new stuff that rolls out. Definitely intrigued. I'm telling all my people about it because I think it's intriguing.
Thanks. Yeah, yeah. And like I said, we're doing like the next iteration, like the a live update. It should be live like probably tomorrow or Wednesday. And yeah, it's gonna be free, so don't let anybody be afraid that it's like it says it's only a 2 week free trial. It will be free forever until you start to need a bunch of storage.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I will continue working on that. And but yeah, it's been great meeting you, and we'll definitely do this again.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good
Whenever you
night.
get the next issue out or like the next wave or something like that.
Okay. Okay.
We'll do like a another full hour.
Awesome.
All right. Adios.